is Dale Carr, who is a shark attack survivor. And he's going to share his personal observations of the after effects of the shark attack at an individual and community level. Dale is from Port Macquarie and is a member of the Bite Club and Beyond the Bite, organisations which aim to support shark bite victims, their families and first responders. Please join with me in welcoming Dale to the microphone.
You haven't heard me speak yet. I might be terrible. I'm a bit nervous. It's probably the first time you're seeing someone like me come up here, and obviously with D.P.I, and probably thinking yourself, what's he doing up there? Usually those guys are sitting in their social media, or they're actually on TV, portraying the whole poor me story, nonsense stuff like that. I represent a group of people who do a lot of things. One is we speak for those who can't speak for themselves. There are some people in our group that just, that the trauma from the shark attack, they'll never get over it. And that's okay with us. There's some out there who want to kill all the sharks. I don't necessarily agree with that, but if that gets them through the day and doesn't kill themselves, we're okay with that too. There are people who want to hug sharks. That's fine with me as well. But more importantly is the human side. It's about respect. I'm going to talk to you about a few things that happened to me after my shark attack. I soon realised after about 48 hours my best friend was every journalist in New South Wales and Australia. Every person was my cousin. Everybody wanted to come and see me because I was going to give a presentation at the hospital. Every interest group was going to come and say, no, Dale's going to talk about saving all the sharks and it wasn't the sharks' fault. No, Dale's going to come out here and he's going to say all the sharks should be killed. I was bamboozled. Not only had it actually just been a situation where I was actually just coming out of getting my rear end bitten by a shark, I copped it from everywhere. More importantly, I copped it from my wife. I said to her, look, just let me go for half an hour. It'll make me happy. First word she said to me as I was actually in emergency, and I actually had stopped breathing twice in that process, was, are you happy now? Everybody wants to be your friend. No, 600 friend requests. I don't remember doing anything fantastic apart from being bitten on the arse by a shark. But nonetheless, I said hello to a few. Yeah, why not? Let's see what's going on. That exposed me to a whole bunch of responses. Mate, you knew the risk. Oh, I'm real sorry for you, mate. Oh, you deserved it. What's the matter about whether I should be culled or whether the shark should be culled? It's about human nature. And simply as a group, we ask a lot of people that sort of responses is, would you act that way if you're on the beach at that time when someone's asking for help? We've recently started up Beyond the Bite, and it's purely about those who are deadly affected by sharks. It's got nothing to do with your opinion. You can have it. That's fine. We don't care. We actually just care about you. Now, that's not really going to apply to everyone. I don't want everyone to be my friend tonight. But what I do want to know is, have you changed your human behaviour after the attack? Now, in Port Macquarie, it didn't really do much of a difference for us. We've got so much going on there at the moment, a new hospital, a new university. Tourism is not a massive issue for Port Macquarie. But up here, you guys copped it. And you copped it sweet. And I empathise with you about that. And it's really important that through up here, I don't want to try and encapsulate all of you out there. I'd rather come here and actually talk to you over a quiet beer afterwards and actually say, did you actually make a change? I don't like going surfing as much as I used to. I actually use some of these apps myself. Some of it's good. Because to me, I need to get back out there. For many of us, the surf was our release from our life. If life sucked, we knew that we'd grab our board, go out for a surf. Just every now and then we didn't expect to be raised or get bitten on the bum. I fought back, some don't. Mate, you will never know until it happens to you. So don't ever criticise anybody about their behaviour afterwards. I can give you that for a tip. Up here, these guys up here have done a great job in regards to getting an opportunity to actually do the trial in the first place. I commend them on that. And I understand there's some people out here doing some shark watch as well. Good on you as well. At the end of the day, if you feel like you're having a crack at it, that's all it is about you, because the race really is with yourself. not with anybody else. Put your hand up if you don't like surfing as much as you used to. That's a clinical form of anhedonia, where you don't derive pleasure from a leisurely activity. That's a form of PTSD. If you actually had the situation, is it because you are closely related to the person who was attacked by the shark? Or did you just know them? Or was it because Channel 7 told you all about it for 4 weeks straight? Or you read it in the Daily Telegraph for 4 weeks straight? Shit, I just couldn't get a release. I couldn't get away from it. All these interest groups. People were actually, I sat on the top of the Lighthouse Beach after I got attacked. And to be honest, no one goes surfing where I was surfing before. And if you actually just followed all the advice, I was an idiot. Apparently I was 150 metres out, bait balls everywhere, and everybody told me about it in the Chinese shop, 2 weeks later. Oh, we saw a shark out there. Oh, you shouldn't have been out there. We saw a shark. We saw bait balls and stuff like that. I've been doing it since I was 16. But I didn't realise at the end of the day, as I got older, maybe my risk profile had changed. Maybe my human behaviour had changed. So as a group, we really want to know, and this is why we get involved with D.P.I, is depending on your level of exposure, what is the level of PTSD? Because in Bike Club, people think it's an exclusive club. I told my story to my mate about my shark attack, expecting him to be just, wide-eyed about it. And at the end of it, he said, "That's great, Dale. I just got diagnosed with motor neuron disorder." I thought to myself, shit, maybe trauma is universal. Maybe I'm no different. Maybe the person beside me has got cancer. I thought to myself, if it's in regards to the situation in this community, maybe some people have a glass full of trauma in their hand before they even thought about the shark attack. What we find in our group is that sometimes this shark attack actually amplifies existing trauma in their life. If you can't pay your rent before a shark attack, you definitely can't pay your rent after a shark attack. And people ask me, what's your opinion about that? I don't have one. Mondays and Wednesdays, I love sharks. Thursdays and Fridays, they give me the shits. Apart from that, I don't really care because I've got 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife and I've got to get on with my life. I understand here that these guys are having a crack at it, and to be honest, I think it's going to take a few years before we get it right. But I think it's important that if there's an opportunity for you guys to come and see us and talk about it, then we can reflect that and create that social inclusion, where we get an opportunity to actually reflect the people's communities and their needs and actually express it and say, it's not a result of an online survey, it's actually human beings. I thought to myself, after all that situation in the social media, I thought to myself, that social exclusion, has that ever happened before? I looked everywhere, I found 185 articles on sharks, but nothing on shark attack victims. We found one. There was one in India. It was on tiger tracks. What they found was, they actually found a whole bunch of people committing self-harm on the fringes of the forest. Why? What's that got to do with it? It turned out these people were actually victims of a tiger attack. In India, the tiger is revered as an animal that never misses. People excluded those people who were actually attacked by the tiger because they were in fear that the tiger would come back and attack them again and attack their village. So they socially excluded that individual. I saw no difference between that and that 72 hours of people's opinions on me at social media. And all I did was get bitten on the bum. I think it's an important aspect that maybe we have to accept the fact that in our community that maybe 50% of us are going to be hypervigilance, hyperarousal, dissociative behaviour. Who here has actually come across someone with a difference of opinion and had to shut their mouth because they didn't want to have an argument with them? Yeah. So thank God I actually come here because it sounds like you guys are suffering the same thing as me. Maybe you're no different from me as Bike Club. By all means, we've got a $25 shirt out there, you can come buy one. No, I'm only kidding. But it's important I tell you this because maybe it's actually already what you already know. But you guys might not come to Port Macquarie. But I want to tell you my story because that's what happened in Port Macquarie. The one thing we did right in Port Macquarie was we respected the fact that everyone had a personal opinion. There's shark deterrence, Yeah, I had a crack. Dave Smith from SurfSafe Western Australia donated one to me. I put it in my bodyboard. It was the worst experience of my life. I threw up 5 times on the beach. I threw up 5 times in the water. I was trying to avoid a photographer from the Daily Telegraph. I was out there, I had 4 waves, got electrocuted on the elbow 4 times. I had a gut feel. By the time I came in there, I went straight home to my wife and said, right, put the bathtub up, you put the board in there, turn the water up there and drain the battery out and I'll never use it again. Was it successful? Bloody oath it was. Because it was the one particular item that said to me, have one more crack at it, Dale. Don't ever expect these guys to give you that silver bullet. It'll be your individual behaviour that will actually test that in regards to yourself. Maybe you may need to change your behaviour risk profile. Maybe you don't. Maybe you live your life on the edge. Maybe you don't. Maybe you go surfing at 6 o'clock every morning. Maybe you don't. Good for you. But at the end of the day, we do understand that some days you're going to have good days and some days you're going to have bad days. And at the end of the day, that's okay with us. Thank you very much.